So good evening. Yes, it's a very windy but lovely, lovely evening, and I'm out doing a walk because, I've just finished work, and I thought I can't miss this opportunity to get some sunshine. And I thought that meant we could do another video. What are we looking at today? Well, I'm looking at fragrances at the moment. I'm always looking to buy fragrances, of course I am, and I thought, well, some of these fragrances that I've looked at in recent times have come out 30, 40 years ago, and I'm sure the price of them has changed. So I asked ChatGPT to give me a little hand of what fragrances, when they were released, what their sort of retail price was then, and what you'd buy them on their sort of websites, their retail price now. And as you can imagine, things have got a little bit more expensive. So I've got a few fragrances that they've given me. I'm going to tell you what they said their retail price was at the moment of release, and what you can buy them for as a general sort of rough estimate now on their website. So yeah, really looking forward to getting into this one, and there's some scary increases, some very, very big price increases. Apologies, it is super windy, so I'm hoping you'll hear me. I'll talk as clearly as I can, and we're going to start with 1996 Aqua de Joe. At the moment, I've actually got a clone of this one, and I really like it. It also has this rosy floral component, and it's a bit creamy as well. But the main thing I get from Aqua de Joe, if you've not smelled it before, is the feeling of a summer holiday, of summer vacation, and also being by the seaside, which I am at the minute, and I really, really like this one. Now, according to ChatGPT, in 1996, the kind of retail price for 100ml was £40 to £45. Look, 30 years ago, that probably was actually quite expensive. It certainly wouldn't have been that cheap when you consider how much inflation is today. So if you're going to be buying it now, how much would you be paying in 2026? Probably double that, according to ChatGPT, £85 to £100. Now, I suppose the question is, in today's world, in 2026, is that good value for money? And I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to say yes for one reason. First of all, I think this is a timeless scent. I think it's one that's never going to feel dated because the notes in it are quite safe. So if you're a younger person, an older person, I think it's got that mass appeal about it. You can also wear it in many situations because it's kind of more of a summer fragrance. It's not got anything too dark or too sweet where you feel like in high heat you can't put it off. And yeah, it's just a recognisable, refusable fragrance that many people know and recognise, and it has that class of sophistication about it. And again, if this was the only scent you had in your collection, it would do the job. It would do the job for every situation, dressing up, dressing down, and it'll have that mass appeal. And yeah, for that reason, I think it's well worth £85 to £100. Well, would I be happy? I suppose the question I would say, would I be happy paying that? Yes, I would. Of course, it's still not cheap, but I think in this case you do get what you pay for. So I'm going to say that increase in price is justified with Aqua de Joe. Okay, so we're moving into the 2000s now. We're going to go for Paco Rabanne Black Excess. Now, this one came out in 2005. Very, very popular. Known for its compliment getting ability, according to people on Fragrantica. I've actually not owned this one, and I hopefully will own it at some point. But it's got notes of praline in, it's got some citrus in there, and it's also got its woods, which gives it that masculine edge. Now, the price it was in around 2005 was £35 to £40 for 100ml. That doesn't actually sound too bad, does it? But moving on to 20 years later, it's now £80 to £95 as a retail price. Now, look, that's over double. That's over 100% increase. That's quite scary, isn't it? That is quite scary. Now, do I think it's worth it? And I'm going to say for most people, yes, and particularly for people who grew up with this scent. Now, one of the criticisms of this fragrance on Fragrantica, some people think it's a bit of a teenager scent, but if you were a teenager at the time and you grew up wearing this one, I think it will bring a bit of nostalgia, and I think that does matter to a lot of people. Look, that's why Aramis and a lot of these other retro fragrances are still around. That nostalgia matters, but I suppose for those that maybe haven't had it before, like myself, would I pay that? Probably not. I'd probably look at getting a clone, but look, it's still a very popular scent, and as we touched upon, if you look at the notes in it, it's got sage in it, it's got lemon, praline, all very much notes that are used in a lot of fragrances today, so I don't think that's a bad thing at all. And I think it's down to personal preference in the case of Paco Rabanne Black Excess. Okay, so we're moving on to just 1 year later, 2006, so 20 years ago. And of course, that was the year that Terre d'Hermès, which I've recently done a 20-year celebration birthday for, was released. Now, Terre d'Hermès has been a bit of a signature scent for me over the years. I initially didn't like this one, but this peppery, it's almost been described as a dirty orange smell, is so popular. I've had so many compliments on this scent, whether that's at the gym, which people may not associate with a gym fragrance. It gets compliments on everything I've been on. I've worn it in schools, I've worn it to the gym, I've worn it on nights out, and in every situation I've worn it, people have said good things. It's lovely. If you like orange as a note, phrases on a real naturalistic note, Hermes is as good as any, and this is a fantastic fragrance. Now, the price it was kind of released at, it looks like it was around that £40 range. Now, I did actually just look on their website, it's roughly about £108 for 100ml. Now, of course, there are discount websites where you can buy this, and again, it's over 100% increase in terms of its retail price. Do I think it's worth it? Look, someone that, again, you can wear it in all those situations, so in that sense, yes it is. If you just had that one in your collection to do it all, I don't think that's too bad a price. Personally, for myself though, I'd want something to complement this fragrance, just something a little bit sweeter for those more nights out, or a colder evening when you just want to feel like you're a bit more cosy under a blanket. But it's good, it is very good. So in terms of quality, I think it's well worth that price. The only thing I would say is Hermes has so many good fragrances in their collection. I've had some flankers. I've got the flanker Eau Givre from Hermes. I've got Rhubarb Écolate, which is another amazing fragrance in their collection. Hermes H24, I absolutely love it. And yeah, they have parfum versions of this as well, some more intense versions, smaller bottle sizes, and it's very readily available on discount websites like All Beauty, Fragrance Direct, all these other websites that make me think I probably wouldn't need to spend that high price on it, especially again if you go on like clone websites. If you've never tried it before, you can try it there as well. So for me at the moment, would I spend £108 on it? No. But if it was the only time I could get it was their retail price, and say I haven't had it for 30 years, you can't get it anywhere else, would I pay that? Yes, I would. So yeah, don't pay that price because you don't need to. You can find it much cheaper online, look on eBay or anything like that. But I don't think even if I paid that full retail, I don't think I'd feel ripped off, because you can wear it any occasion. It's timeless again, as I said. And ultimately, when 3 or 4 people say nice things about it and message you asking what was that scent, you know you're on to a winner there. So Hermes, Ted Hermes is a winner. But yeah, don't pay that price. But it's still worth it if you want to go full retail, in my opinion. Okay, let's try a women's fragrance now. There is a men's version of this one as well, but I feel like the women's version of this fragrance is more iconic, and it came out in 2001, and it's Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. Now, I do quite like the note breakdown of this one because it's got a note of bamboo in it. When do you ever see bamboo? Does bamboo ever smell? Let me know, because I'm not really sure I know what the smell of bamboo is, but this is a kind of floral, fruity fragrance. It's got apple in it, it's got musk, it's got cedar. It's just very nice. It's a very nice, again, mass appealing fragrance. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like, not in terms of scent, but like an Acte de Joe, where you feel like it reminds you of a summer holiday. It's really nice. I really like the men's version, like Blue Corum. I think that came out in 2007, so not long after, and that's also a classic. Now, the sort of price it was coming in at around 2001 time was £40 to £45. It's gone up a lot. We're talking about £90 to £110 now for this fragrance. Again, do I think it's worth it? Now, I think exactly the same as I mentioned earlier. For nostalgia reasons, yes, I do. I think if you really, really like this one, I don't think any clone, as much as it can smell 95% the same, it can never feel quite the same. You know, I'll give you an example. I've actually got a clone at the moment of Acte Palm Colonia Essenza, and the clone smells brilliant. It really does. But there's something about having the actual one that still matters to me, and it still doesn't give me that same nostalgia having a clone of the fragrance. And that's how I feel with this here. If you're someone who really likes it, absolutely is their number one scent. You wear it for all the occasions. I think paying £110 in today's world probably isn't too bad. It's a it's a well-respected brand, isn't it? Dolce & Gabbana as well. It has that class and elegance about it, and it looks very, I like the bottle as well, that frosted kind of look it has. I think it looks good on any fragrance shelf, any perfume shelf that you have. So yeah, but look, can you get clones of it? Absolutely. Do you have to go and pay full price? No, you don't, because many websites are still selling this one, and I'd always say save yourself a few pounds. That you can probably get it for about £70-80, and I still think that would be absolutely worth it. So yeah, personal preference here, but go and check it out. There's many other websites that sell this one. Okay, and the final one we're going to look at is Dior Homme. Yes, I didn't think I could talk any more Dior Sauvage when we're talking about Dior, so I thought we'd do a different one, Dior Homme, and that came out in 2005. Yes, 21 years ago. I feel old now, and the price it was kind of around then was £50, which probably was quite expensive, you know, but if you think Ted Hermes came out around the same time, you're probably talking all designer fragrances for 100ml or around that £50 mark. On Sephora, according to ChatGPT, it's now £107. So it has definitely doubled in price over the years, but is it an iconic scent? Yes, it is. And I think one of the issues people have with a lot of scents that have been around for 20, 30 years is reformulation. Some people say the scent doesn't smell quite the same. Other people will tell you that they're just weaker ultimately overall, and they're just not as good as the original scents. And sometimes if you get a 2005 batch of this fragrance and you find it on eBay, some people will be charging over £107. So again, having the name Dior on your shelf I don't think is a bad thing. You can absolutely get clones of this. You can probably get it on sale on discount websites at times, but it's that personal preference. I'm going to keep going back to it for nostalgia reasons. If you're someone who wants the original, go and get the original. But if you're worried about reformulations, maybe try a clone, maybe see if that brings the spark back. And if not, buy the original again and maybe use the clone as a top-up spray, because it is a mass appealing scent. It's timeless, which a lot of these fragrances that ChatGPT have recommended are that exactly, but that's also why they've been around for so long. And yeah, again, we're talking 100% increase, and it's just ultimately how much you value that scent. I think it's a good one. It's one that I really need to try. I've smelt it before, but not for a long time. Maybe it's one I need to try, but I think for myself personally, I'm going to get a clone of it first before I fork out £100 on this fragrance. And there we are, that is it for today. So 5 scents that ChatGPT have looked at from 20, 30 years ago, their retail price then to their retail price now. We're talking about 100% plus increase in price, but that's expected with the cost of living. Everything's gone up in that time as well. But what I like with fragrance is it doesn't really matter, does it? You know, when you think about scents in general, you could spend £5 on a fragrance and not like it as much as a £50 one because you've had maybe more compliments on a cheaper one. And just in general, you maybe just prefer the smell. And that's what I like with fragrances. It's not like my headphones, for example, where there's easy ways to measure quality, you know, in terms of the amount of noise it can project, how much bass there is in it. You know, there's certain things, particularly with electronics and other products, where you can just generally measure quality. With fragrances, you can't. It depends on what you like. Maybe you like the brand name. Maybe you just like the scent of it. And maybe you just get loads of compliments on a certain one that doesn't cost as much as others. So it's what you value, and that's what ultimately I think determines whether you think it's good value for money or not. If it's for nostalgia reasons, you might still want to get the original. If it's for the presentation of the bottle or just the brand name, you might want to get the original. But purely on scent, I'm happy to buy clones still, and yeah, just get those scent memories from cheaper versions of the scents, or also on discount websites of the actual original. But yeah, hope this has been useful. Comment if you'd like me to do like a review or a price comparison of some of your favourite fragrance scents as well, and I can always get ChatGPT to look at those ones as well and do that in another video. But I hope you've enjoyed this today. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.